Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Dr. Ciara Wallace, and I help women of color who are in STEM. So today, I'm going to talk about raising the come up. My cousin was cleaning out her closet, and she sent me a picture of when I graduated with my PhD in developmental psychology. She sent it to me last week. And I just remember looking at it and being like, oh my gosh, I remember. I was so excited. You could see the smile was like I was beaming across my face. I had that fuzzy little hat on. I had my big, beautiful velvety gown and the hood. And I was just like, ooh, here we are. And it was so exciting. And I just remember that time because I had really accomplished a dream coming from really working so very hard all the way to getting my doctorate. And I just remember looking back and being like, yeah, man, this is it. This is it. And I know that you can relate because I know that many of you have had the same type of climb to go from wherever you may have come from as a young girl and then going up through the many different challenges of being a woman and a person of color in a STEM field to getting to the place where you're in graduate school or that you have your first job. Yo, that's a serious come up. I was very, very excited when I got my degree. I embraced that climb. And I'm telling you to embrace it and to celebrate that climb. I also embraced the fact that, I came from a lot of different challenges. I grew up in a lower income community. And so there was a lot of poverty. There were very few educational opportunities. And there was a lot of violence in the neighborhood, especially during the era that I grew up. And it was a difficult environment to live in. And thank goodness that I had family and parents that really valued education. My family immigrated to this country. And so a lot of immigrants focus on education and thankfully, because again, that was the tool and the fuel for me to be able to achieve what it is that I have. But there was a lot of things to have to navigate in that space. And there were a lot of ways in which I could have not been able to get to where I got to. And I'm very excited that I was able to move through that. But I also, over the years, have recognized that, you know what? It might have been hard to live where I live, but it was also beautiful. We had such a tight-knit community where we came from. And I learned so much about valuing hard work. And when I say hard work, I don't mean like just beating yourself down. I'm talking about like really working towards things and really like taking advantage of the time and the gift that you have in life. I learned about being very creative about resources because we didn't have a lot of money. So it was like, well, how can we figure out to be able to get these opportunities? How can we start to look for opportunities and hear about opportunities and take advantage of those opportunities in order to be able to reach the goals that we may have had individually or in my family or with my friends? That ingenuity, that creativity, that resourcefulness is gold. And so I have over the years recognized that, you know what? Yeah, I'm trying to climb to success, but I want to honor where I came from. I want to honor and embrace that come up, that place that I came from, because I got so much from that. That environment really molded me in positive ways. And I think that when we take on that identity, it allows us to walk taller. It's not like, oh, I've beaten them down, I'm vulnerable. And no, you came from a space of strength. You came from a community where people were creative, where they were working together, banding together, doing the best that they could. There were positive things that came from that. For those of you who came from those types of environments, I want you to be and walk in that space of pride. Because sometimes when we think about our come up and we think about, oh, that's where I was from, and you don't have that positive view of it, it can stick in your mind in times when you get fearful or in times when you start to feel like you're not necessarily good enough or that imposter syndrome will kick in. It'll add to that. It'll fuel that. But if you come from a place of recognizing, you know what, there was a lot of value that I got from where I came from, then you can use that to fight the imposter syndrome, to fight the naysayers. So you are embracing your come up, and I'm saying you embrace that come up. Like seriously embrace it, give it a huge hug, because it's like the fuel. It's the fuel that's going to keep you going through the inevitable ups and downs of the journey, right? So when you take the time to acknowledge what it is that you are achieving, then you have the power to keep going. And when I say that, I'm saying, yes, have your parties, buy yourself flowers, outfits, purses, whatever you need to do to acknowledge that. If you have family members that want to do things for you, that's great. And I think that should happen. But I'm really talking about feeling it. I'm talking about really embodying the celebration, because oftentimes, especially as women and people of color, we tend to say, on to the next one. I don't have time for this. I'm moving through the next goal because I got to keep climbing higher and higher and higher and higher. I got to do this. And I'm not trying to knock anyone's goals, go for it, but you go for it. And at the same time, you take time, a few minutes, a couple of times a week, a month, whatever it is that you need to do as you're kind of like rounding out or remembering the achievement that you've had. You take the time to take it in. So if you did buy yourself some flowers for getting that, let's say you took your thesis and you did your thesis defense, and you got some flowers and you went out to eat and you're excited about that, you take some time after you've done all that, you feel the celebration. You feel it. You don't just do the celebration, you feel it, because that energy is going to be important when you're moving through to the next phase, because you'll be able to remember that achievement more. It'll be like in your body, in your cells. So I'm encouraging you, because I know when I was coming up, it was like, move on to the next thing. I'm graduating high school and I'm going to college. And after college, I got to figure out what I'm doing for grad school. And after grad school, I got to do this and that. And it's like, no, take it in. Yes, you may want to think about the next level, but take it in, because it's power in that process. What I realized over the years is that it's not just about the come up. It's also, it's a come up, it's a come down, it's around and around. Things go left. And I'm telling you to be a little bit excited, or a lot excited about that downturn. Sometimes a downturn happens. I'm going down. It may be that you have an opportunity that you wanted and you didn't get it. It may be that something was taken away from you. It may be that you lost your job. You know, it may be something personal that happened. Maybe you got injured and you couldn't participate in some things with your career, and that kind of stalled you, or what you felt like it kind of stalled you out, right? And so that will happen, that inevitable, like, rewind. And what has to happen in that is that you have to think about it as, this is part of the process. This is a part that I'm going to be excited about, because I'm going to learn more strength for myself. I'm going to learn a different way to move through this. It's not oh man, I'm through. It's no, you may have to take a little bit of time to adjust and to figure out what your next move is. But you get excited because it's like, oh my goodness, now I know what I'm made of, because I was able to do that. What? One of my favorite quotes by Michelle Obama. I do have to read it because I don't know by heart, but it says, instead of letting your hardships and failures discourage you or exhaust you, let them inspire you. Let them make you even hungrier to succeed. That's what I'm talking about. So please leave in the comments, what is it that you're facing right now that might feel like a struggle? How is it that you can embrace that come up? Let us know. If you feel like you would like to get some support as you're moving through your journey as a woman of color in STEM, you want to be around other people that are inspiring you and that are also sharing the journey of the ups and the downs, come and check out what we're doing at Women of Color STEM Leadership Lab. Info down below. Until later, remember, you are not just meant to make it in STEM. You were meant to thrive.